Hi, this is Eve and welcome to my channel. I would like to thank my subscribers and those who have already watched my previous videos. Thank you for all of your support, and if you find the contents helpful but have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing as well. This is tip number 6, practice parallelism. But before that, let's have a review first. In tip number 5, I discussed how to use a hyphen, an em dash, and an em dash. I discussed their differences, their uses, and even ways on how to locate each when you are typing on your keyboards. For more discussions about these two images that you see and a lot more, watch tip number 5. The link is on the description box. So let's proceed to tip number 6, practice parallelism. To start with, we'll have a very short game. All you need to do is complete the famous quotes, commercial tagline, or songs. Please comment your answers or your scores on the comment section so that we can make this interactive. So for number 1, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and blank. So what's your answer? If you answered wise, you are correct. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Next, that's one step for mankind. Again, that's one step for man, one giant blank for mankind. If you answered bleep, you're correct. Next, have a break, have a blank. Correct answer is Kit Kat. Have a break, have a Kit Kat. Next, we clawed, we blank our hearts in vain, we jumped, never asking why, we kissed, I fell under your spell, a love no one could deny. Wrecking ball. If you answered shamed, you're right. Okay, last. From the lyrics of A Whole New World, unbelievable sights, indescribable blank, soaring, tumbling blank, through an endless diamond sky. Okay, the answer, indescribable feeling, soaring, tumbling, freewheeling. So what's your score? Just for fun, write your scores in the comment section. Thank you for interacting. Moving on, what is common about those lines that I showed you a while ago? They all contain parallelism. What is parallelism? It is a form of construction in writing where words, sentences, or clauses have similar structure or ideas. In some references, this is called paired construction or isocolon. Why do we need to use parallelism? Parallelism creates rhythm and style in your writing. This gives a sense of smooth flow of ideas or words and adds a poetic element to your writing. Second, it helps in giving emphasis. Words in parallel construction are sort of highlighted. This kind of construction signals the readers that there is a relationship or something is common among words within that sentence or clause. Third, it creates coherence and cohesion. How? It bonds the words, creating unity and balance within it. It glues ideas together, creating a strong weave among the words. In that sense, it makes ideas easy to follow for the readers. These are two of the elements that will help make your writing effective: coherence and cohesion. So how to use parallelism? If you are not new to my videos, you know that I choose actual students' output. So here is an example. of the answer one of my students gave in a quiz where I asked them to compare and contrast two persons. Previously, if there were errors in the sample sentences that I give that are not related to the topic at hand, I did not comment or correct the other errors because I want to focus on the lesson at hand, and I would like students to be able to really relate with my material because they find that the material is genuine. This is also my way of giving them feedback. But now, since the videos are public, I corrected the other errors so that we can focus on parallelism. So in this sentence, let me read. They have so many similarities, just like inviting me into their homes, giving me some food, and the smile on their faces. In this sentence, the writer explains about the similarities. Here, the similarities are inviting, giving, and the smile. Inviting and giving are both gerunds. That means they're action words ending in ing, but functioning as nouns. This is an example of faulty parallelism because the last element, that is the smile, is not the same as the first two, inviting and giving. So what do we need to do? How are we going to correct it? When we put items in a series, make sure they belong to the same word class or part of speech. In this example, I changed the smile to just smiling. I also removed the because the previous items, inviting and giving, do not have articles. So it becomes now they have so many similarities, just like inviting me, giving me, and smiling at me. So they have now the same. They have now the same structure. Okay, of course we cannot say smiling me. We need to add at. Okay, next example. Let me read to you. Whenever someone corrects him, he gladly accepts the correction, apologizes for the mistake, and continue his class. In this example, what is commendable is that the writer used all verbs in the list: accepts, apologize, continue. What is faulty is the tense of the verb used. Accepts and continue are in present form, while apologize is in the past form. So take note that the clause before the series, whenever someone corrects him, this clause use verb corrects in the present form. So to correct this statement, we need to be consistent with all the verb tenses. So accept or accepts is already correct, so leave as is. Next, replace the D in apologize to S to make it apologizes. So accepts, apologizes. And then lastly, add S to continue to make it continues. In this way, the verb tense is consistent. Accepts, apologizes, continues. Or in case you want to use the past form, you may say, whenever someone corrected him, he gladly accepted the correction, apologized for the mistake, and continued in his class. So consistency is the key. Can you pause for this video for a short while and comment below how do you handle corrections? But please use parallelism. Thank you for interacting. In this next sentence, let me read. On the other hand, Mr. R allows his students to participate in the dissections, experiments, and allow the use of scientific equipment for their private experiments. And the items in the list are what Mr. R allows his students to do. 1, participate in the dissections. 2, experiment. And 3, allow the use of scientific equipment for their private experiments. By this time, I hope that you already sense that this is faulty because there is a break in parallelism in the second item. The structure is not consistent, so participate in the dissections, experiment, and then allow the use of scientific equipment. So this is faulty. The first and the last, participate in the dissections and allow the use of scientific equipment, used verb plus object of the verb. What is an object of the verb? Just remember that this answers the question what, as in participate in what? The dissections. Allow the what? Use of scientific equipment. So those are object of the verbs. So the first and the last items in our list in the series use verb plus object of the verb, while the second one does not follow. So how are we going to correct this? To correct this, you need to identify and follow the grammatical structure. I have already identified the grammatical structure, so let's just follow that grammatical structure. What we need to do is supply a verb in the second item. So think of an appropriate verb. So there will be many other correct answers as long as the structure is correct. So one possible answer is perform, and then add the article the before experiment. So the use of article will also be consistent. So this one, the correct version would be, on the other hand, Mr. R allows his students to participate in the dissections, perform the experiments, and allow the use of scientific equipment for their private experiments. So the structure now is uniform. However, I'm still thinking that this can be improved further. I want to eliminate the preposition in the first item, and instead use the verb dissect, because participate is ambiguous. It does not really give me a clear picture of how Mr. R let his students participate in the process. They may just be assisting by handing the scissors or the gloves. They may be assigned to prepare the materials and other tasks. So I prefer a clearer and stronger word so that it will also be clear. And create a clear picture, clear mental picture to the readers. So when compared that to this one, participate in the dissections, compare that to dissect the specimen, it is clear that the students are the one holding the tools to observe whatever the specimen is. So by doing so, I also eliminated the preposition in. That is eating two birds with one arrow. So it still follows the same structure: dissect the specimen, perform the experiments, and allow the use of scientific equipment. Another sentence. I will read for you. Mom Lloyda rarely smiled and was always serious whenever she taught us things, while Sir Philip was always smiling, being everyone's rainbow, and treating everyone like his own children. So whenever we use coordinating conjunctions or fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or yet, and so, we need to check whether the words or ideas of equal values are presented in parallel structure. So in this case, and is the coordinating conjunction. The clause or the ideas of equal value are rarely smiled and was always serious whenever she taught us things. So are the phrases was always smiling and treating everyone like his own children. So this is faulty, again, because the structure is not consistent. We need to identify, we need to be consistent with how we present the ideas, and then follow that same grammatical structure. Rarely smiled has an adverb and verb structure. Rarely is an adverb. Smiled is a verb. So you need to copy that structure in the next item. So we change. I removed some words, and then I turned serious into an adverb by adding ly. So seriously, and then remove some words, and then taught us things. So rarely, smiled, and seriously taught are now parallel. The third item, always smiled and constantly treated. They have the same structure already, adverb plus verb. However, the verb form is not consistent. Smile. In the previous example, I mean, in the previous, always smiling, treating everyone like his own children. So those are that. So what we need to do is, what I did is that I added an adverb constantly so that it will have the same structure as the previous elements, adverb plus verb. And for the third element, always smiled. Previously, it's always smiling. So smiled, I changed to, smiling. This one is the previous one. Let me show you. Always smiling. So I removed the was and changed the ing to d. So it now becomes always smiled. And the fourth one, constantly treated. So these four elements are parallel now. We can further improve by changing the adverb always with other synonyms. This one, the second one, rarely smiled, always thought, and then regularly smiled, because in our previous version, in the original version, always was used. So what we can do is that we can change one always, use another synonym so that we can avoid redundancy. So rarely smiled, always thought, regularly smiled, constantly treated. Next sentence. Although Ma'am Nancy is an expert in history and mathematics is the field of Ma'am Emily, they never fail to teach me valuable lessons that help me overcome the challenges in life. Can you pause the video and comment your answers below? See how you can apply the ideas presented already? Try. Thank you for your participation. So here is one possible answer. Although Ma'am Nancy is an expert in history and Ma'am Emily is a genius in mathematics, so they have the same structure now. Ma'am Nancy, Ma'am Emily is an expert in history, and for the second one, is a genius in math. So same structure now. Another would be, instead of following the structure of the first element, we follow the structure of the second element. Although history is the expertise of Ma'am Nancy and mathematics is the field of Ma'am Emily, so now they're still parallel. We just changed the structure, but still parallel. So you can correct one sentence in several ways. You just have to be consistent. In poetry, parallelism is done usually by repeating some words. So this one is someone you love by someone you love. So I need someone to heal somebody. I need somebody to heal, somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. So see the structure and the repetition of the word somebody and to. You can sing if you like. So when to use parallelism? In writing sentences in a paragraph, lyrics of a song, and lines in a poem. So in this example, even when you're writing in bullet form, parallelism can still be effective in expressing your ideas. Not only is parallelism used in essays, but even in outlines, we can use parallelism. So whether your outline has only one level or two or more levels, you need to use parallelism. Remember that if you complete a sentence in one item, be consistent. If you use a phrase, that is okay, just be consistent. It also depends on what your teacher requires. Also, I used question form all throughout. Again, consistency is the key. The second level starts with it. It adds, it emphasizes, it creates, followed by a verb with S, followed by an object of the verb. It adds what? Drama. It emphasizes what? Ideas or relationship. It creates what? Coherence and cohesion. And the second level item number 3, verb consistently start the sentence. Ensure, use, identify and follow, repeat. So that's it. We're done with the review. So if you follow the steps in this video, you will avoid erring in this area. If you constantly practice this, you can finally join Julius Caesar and say, I came, I saw, I conquered. Thank you for watching. If this helped you in any way, please subscribe and interact. Bye.